take our first question from Giuseppe Giovanni from Gazzetta dello Sport.
Hi, Bobby. Hi. The first for me is...
how you doing?
Fine, very well. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Brock Lesnar, you, Matt Riddle. How much is important MMA background for a WWE superstar?
Okay, what was the question? I heard you say we all have MMA.
The question
background.
is how much is important one background in mixed martial arts for a WWE superstar? The example are you, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Brock Lesnar, Matt Riddle.
Yes, for me personally, I think it's enormous. I mean, because what we're trying to do is we're showing that there's so many different avenues that professional wrestlers come from. And that's one thing that I did for myself is going on to the MMA side and just kind of legitimize myself, because a lot of people will see you and they know what you do. They see your background. But I had a little stint in there as well as the other people that you're talking about that were actually fighting, that were out there beating people up. And it just kind of shows a different element of our profession. It shows where we go and what type of athletes that we have. I think MMA is a great background because the people that can show that they can win in that cage or that ring are the same people that are showing that they can win in a WWE ring. Fighting is fighting across the board.
Okay, the second question for me, WrestleMania with closed doors. Which kind of sensation do you have for the event?
Oh, man. You know what? At first, when I heard that it was going to be a closed-door thing, I kind of questioned it a little bit. But as I went into it, man, it was the same. It was actually exactly the same. You know, we go out there and perform. We go out there and fight. We go out there and wrestle. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's nobody in the crowd, or it doesn't matter if there's millions. There was quite a few people there just because, you know, with the production and the announcers and everything like that. So there was people that were watching your match. And I think every one of us being professionals understand that out there is a time to shine. And a lot of times we're out there to shine for the announcer sitting there, for the cameraman. The cameraman says, wow, I've seen something I've never seen before. That match excited me. Then you have the boss back there in a gorilla position. There was a lot of people there that you still want to go out there and show what you have, show what you want to impress. Because WrestleMania is the end of the year for us. And it's the end of a lot of feuds. And it's an opportunity for us to really go out there and shine. So it doesn't matter who's out there. I think everybody will agree that went out there felt like it was exactly the same. And you'll see when you watch the matches this weekend that the same energy is coming to those matches that they do with matches with millions of people watching.
The last for me, you were ECW champion, World Heavyweight champion. What do you think about the new prospect that came from NXT? One of these is Aleister Black, that is your opponent in WrestleMania weekend.
I don't care about them. Everybody came from different areas, backgrounds. I don't care if it came from NXT. I don't care if it came from a backyard wrestling group. Right now, I'm so focused on what I need to accomplish, and what I need to accomplish is winning a world title. That's what I came back for. That's what I'm doing. Aleister Black is another guy that's in the way. You know, there's all these guys that are going to be in the way. I think Aleister Black is doing great. I think he's at the top of his game. I'm not going to take anything away from him because I'm a competitor. So we have two different paths. My path is straight up to the top. His path is right around where he is right now, trying to prove himself.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will now take our next question from Josh Lawless from Sport Bible.
Hi, Bobby. How's it going?
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Just wanted to ask you, recently talked about having a bare knuckle boxing fight. If you had to pick one WWE superstar to go up against, who would it be?
Well, as far as what's going on right now, it'd be Aleister Black. But across the board, there's a bunch of different people. I'm a competitor. I'm not somebody that's going to say, okay, let me see who I can weave through the ranks and try to find somebody that's an easy match. No. I'm looking at, and I think what you're asking me is who I felt that is the toughest person that would probably be a great match for a bare knuckle fight. So with that question being asked, I think I would love to be able to get in there, and this will surprise a lot of people. It's freaking Baron Corbin. He and I have worked out before. He's done some boxing. He has some legit boxing skills. So it'd be fun to go up there and mix him up. And we've talked about it a lot. We went overseas on the last tour. We were tagging all throughout the tour. We went out to the gym, found some boxing gloves, found some mitts, and I was surprised. He hits hard, and he can swing. So I'm going to give that to him. And then also I would say, of course, the champ, Brock Lesnar. I mean, because he has proven fighting skills, proven fighting ability. He's been in the cage. He's swung those hands. He's knocked people out. So, of course, it would be him. And then I think third, another person that I kind of threw out there is I think Braun. Braun may not have just that natural, hey, look, I have these boxing skills like a Floyd Mayweather. But I've seen Braun get upset before, and I've seen Braun want to rip somebody apart. And those two things in itself kind of show a different breed of a person. So I think that would be a good fight also. There's a couple other people that are kind of scattered in there that I think they have a little bit of fighting ability. But I'm not taking anything away from anybody else. I'm just saying those guys would be, I think, another awesome opponent. And, you know, another one that a lot of people don't really know too much about is Roman. I think fighting has to do with athleticism. And Roman's an incredible athlete. He's a big guy. He's aggressive. So, I mean, somebody like him would probably like to throw down also. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that I would say would be a good opponent.
Mm-hmm. You talked as well about, obviously, you know, your goal being to be world champion in WWE in the second run. How close do you feel you are to getting that opportunity and being able to prove yourself as world champ?
If I want to be honest with myself, I'm not very close at all. But I think the ability, I think I'm like one match away from it. And when I say that I'm not that close right now, is because I've lost some key matchups throughout the year. I've been through some crazy storylines throughout my time back. But the one thing that no one can take away from me is what I've done in the past between fighting and winning different other world titles, and my ability. You put the belt on me, walk me around any country, any town, any city, and say, that's the champion. Everybody will say, I understand that, because he is. He looks like a champion. It's like Leo used to say all the time, looks like a champion, smells like a champion. I have all those abilities, so when I say that, that's where I believe that I'm very close to the title. I mean, whoever wins it, Brock or Drew, whoever comes out at the end, both of those guys know what I'm capable of doing, and both of those guys, I believe the crowd across the board will like to see us tango, fight. So I'm right there.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time, and looking forward to WrestleMania.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Matty Paddock from The Mirror.
Hi, Bobby. Thanks for your time. You were mentioning just one of my colleagues just now about your background prior to starting in professional wrestling and how sometimes aesthetically that can provide a legitimacy to WWE and how it's presented. You've obviously, especially over the last few months, become more and more involved in the other side of WWE, if you like, the soap opera style, if you like, with regards to storylines and a bit of scandal. In terms of Bobby Lashley, the man and the character, how have you found sort of adapting to that? Because that is also a big contrast to perhaps to what you were used to as an athlete, so to speak.
Oh, they hate it and they hate me. I'm trying to be brutally honest. They hate it and they hate me because of it. But you know what? There's you got to be a little bit more dimensional, more than just one dimensional. And some of the things that I did this year are just trying to show a different side of me, having fun. But ultimately, it's always going back to your roots. Everybody has a different side here or there, but it's ultimately going back to your roots. So regardless of whatever storyline I'm going through, I think that's what I'm going to really focus on coming this year. Is I don't care what I'm doing. I'm still going to focus on the champ. The fact that I am right in line, like I just said in the other interview, right in line, one match away from going for that world title and winning that world title. So this is what my main focus is going to be this year. Not who I'm going to be with, what I'm going to be talking about, what kind of games I'm going to be playing. It's going to be about who has the title, and I'm after you.
Would you perhaps like to see, from a storyline perspective, then a greater focus now back on your intensity and physicality as an athlete rather than some of what we've seen before? And again, that's not to criticise that. As you say, it's part of being an all-rounder sort of sports entertainer, but do you feel more comfortable with the other style?
Of course, yes. I'm not going to say no. I mean, I could tell you anything right now, but be honest with you, is I came from a different kind of background. I came from a military background. I came from a background when I was wrestling at the Olympic Training Center where I was fighting at some of the greatest MMA gyms around. And in those places, you don't go out and I did this, I'm this, and run your mouth. I've never been that person. I've always been that person to shut up and train, and you show your abilities by going out there and fighting. That's how it's always been for me. And coming into it, that's like 20-something years of that being drilled every single day, wrestling through college, winning national championships, winning world medals, going to the Olympic Training Center, training with some of the best athletes in the world. I mean, every single day, shut up and train. And that's something that I loved. That's something that I enjoyed. That's something that made me. There's a lot of people right now that come into the business and they didn't start out with those kind of attributes, but that's how the society has changed. Those people came in, I'm going to be a theater, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Nothing wrong with that. This is an entertainment company, so we need those kind of things. But the people that are supposed to defend this damn title and defend the title against everybody else are the people that can go out there and actually defend it. That's why I'm comfortable with whoever wins the title at WrestleMania. There's a lot of good guys that can represent the company. From my old tag team partner, Drew, to Brock, to Braun, to Goldberg, to Roman. All those different guys are guys that I look at and saying, yep, if we had somebody to defend the title, those are those guys. So, yeah, I like both styles, but my preference would be that hardcore, head down, focused, rocky fighter going for the title.
That's great, Bobby. Thanks very much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Our next question comes from Kenny McIntosh from Sport.
Hey, Bobby, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic.
Great. Well, listen, I just, with WrestleMania coming up this weekend, it being 2 nights, everybody's watching old WrestleManias and watching their favourite moments, and I can't help but remember the Battle of the Billionaires that you've been involved in with you and Umaga being the young guys, and Donald Trump, who's now the president, and Vince McMahon, and Austin. I mean, there was so much going on. What I wanted to know was, how did you kind of find out you were going to be in that spot, and what was it like working with Donald? Because from Donald to Vince to Austin, they were all up for it, and it was just such a great kind of spectacle at WrestleMania 23.
I love that. Even to this day, I same way. I'll roll back to some of those matches that time and just kind of like relish on it, because at the time when I was doing it, I didn't understand the magnitude of it. And no one could have, because Donald Trump becoming the president, nobody understood the magnitude of it. But when I found out about it, I mean, I forget what it was. Something had just happened. We just came back from a tour or something, and then I was told that, hey, you're going to be in this position, and we need you to come meet Donald Trump. And I was just like, all right. It was that plain, because it was one of those things that so many things happening in the sport of wrestling and in WWE that I wasn't like downplaying it. I was just like, holy cow. It was more of that, because there's so many things that happen with the WWE. There's so many people that we touch and we do business with that you never know who you could be working with the next day. I've been across the board. I've been in the White House. I've been overseas with the troops. I've met so many athletes, actors, singers, musicians, all the way across the board at the highest levels. And it's just like we just walk into work, and it's like, oh, so and so is here. It's like, whoa, Matthew McConaughey is here. How you doing, man? There's so many different people like that. But then when it started kind of like unfolding a little bit more as we went on, when we were doing press conferences, we were going around, and I was like, wow, this thing is enormous. And to say how it was working with him, it was actually really cool, man, because this is what it was. It wasn't one of those things where he wanted to take over. Oh, it's me, he's Donald Trump. No, it wasn't that at all. He actually came into the position, and he was like, look, man, I want to make this as great as possible. So tell me what I can do. He didn't tell me how to do my match. He didn't tell Stone Cold how to ref. He didn't tell Vince how to run WWE. He just came in and said, man, this is awesome. Tell me what I can do on my part to make this the best event ever. And I mean, he did his part. We had press conferences at Trump Towers. We had the billboard in Times Square and everything like that. So he said what he was going to do, and he did what he said. So it was actually a cool experience working with him.
Well, and then to go from that, you're now on Raw, and Paul Heyman is heavily involved behind the scenes. What's it been like working with Paul Heyman? And because I assume he's maybe had a hand in things like the wedding that you guys had on TV and that stuff that maybe you're not as familiar with doing. What's it been like working with Heyman?
Paul's great, and he's always been. I mean, I've known Paul for start of OVW. I mean, I was down there working with him, and it's creative. He's very creative. He has all kinds of different ideas that kind of make you scratch your head at first, but he has like a final destination for everything. But I think that's what a lot of people kind of, I don't say butt heads with him, because, everybody has their own vision. Paul has a vision, Vince has a vision, different writers have a vision, and sometimes people don't understand his vision because his vision is a little more complex than most people would think. So there's times where I came in like a little hot, mad, and wanted to talk, and he's always cool as a fan. Man, let me tell you why that happened. So he brings you all the way back down. Doesn't necessarily tell you the final destination, but how I've been since I've been here is like, I believe that there is a reason for everything. And just as long as I keep doing my part, staying prepared, staying ready, I don't care who's standing next to me or what storyline I'm in. If I stay prepared, stay ready, there's a lot of things that can't be denied, and that's what they can't be denied. When you look at me and the things that I do, everybody's like, that guy should be on top, no matter what. So working with him, I mean, it's been cool, and I think that as we go forward, you're going to see a lot more, let's say, unique ideas. But that's what wrestling's about.
Great. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Just quickly,
Our next
we're going
question
to go
comes from
into
Vincent Diaz.
final question. Our final question with Bobby, if that's okay. Thank you.
Our final question comes from Vincent Diaz from Marca.
Hello, Bobby. Hello from Spain. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, fantastic, man.
I would like to ask you about this year's WrestleMania. Will be 2 nights event. I was wondering if you would like to have a 2-night event from now on for the next WrestleManias in the future.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say yes. Doing it live will be it will be tough. And but hold on a second. Let me rewind this. I would say yes across the board, and I'd say yes because we have so much talent that is available. There's a lot of guys that are sitting in the at home right now that are hugely talented, but aren't even being able to get a match on Raw. So yes, if we have an opportunity to bring everybody out, get some more storylines going, and do it for 2 days, that'd be incredible. But if you think about it, we kind of do it right now because we have the NXT show, and the NXT show right before WrestleMania is kind of like another WrestleMania in itself. So if they can just integrate some more people here and there, or make Raw and SmackDown be the focus of WrestleMania, I don't know. And then maybe they can do 4 days, and I don't think the fans would lose anything with 4 days. They could do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and mix everything up like they're doing now. I mean, if they did that, I think it would be a great show. I think there's just so much talent and so much entertainment. So I think that they could do it.
And apart from your match, what is the match that you're looking forward the most?
What match on the show?
Yeah.
The match between Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley. Yeah, that's the one.
But apart from that, do you have any other matches that you're looking forward to? Or?
Well, you know what? Of course, for me, whoever has the title's king. Yeah, title's king. So I'm looking at the Drew and Brock match. I mean, one thing, because I have history with Drew. Drew and I, we were tag partners like half the year. Trained together. We had a match before coming back from WWE. So we have a lot of history together. Yeah. We have a lot of history together. So with that history, I'd like to see how he pairs up against Brock, because in history it's always been Bobby and Brock. Let's see how Lashley and Brock happens. Everybody's wanted that since the beginning of when I came into wrestling. When I was in OVW, people were talking about that. So that's like 15 years in the making almost. So of course I'd like to see somebody that I trained with and been partners with, and has watched grow in this doggone wrestling business, go against somebody that kind of was like my silent nemesis the entire time. So yeah, I want to see that match. I want to see what happens. I mean, I think the UK fans will go crazy if Drew won, but then they'll go crazy in another way if Drew lost. So of course that match is something. And I guess another match we see going through. Of course, anything Roman does is always great. But I think he's pulled out for I don't know what the situation is there. So I want to see how that match pans out. Cena and the Fiend. Randy and Edge. I think Randy and Edge would be awesome. I think those guys, with the amount of wrestling experience that two of those guys have, I think that thing is going to be incredible. There's going to be things that people have never seen before. They're going to try to tear down the house for sure. It's WrestleMania. And those guys have been doing it for a long time, so I know those guys are ready to try to win it. Taker and AJ. I mean, you see, AJ's been regarded as one of the best in the business for so long, and then the actual best in the wrestling business in The Undertaker. Man, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. You know, I think being in an empty stadium is kind of one of those things that the fans are like, man, I wish I could just walk through this TV and get in there and sit in the stands and be a part of this. But you can, because I think one thing that people are going to not understand is that our production, how they captured the match, the energy of the match, the match is all going to be there still this weekend. That's what makes it more exciting. It's something that's never been done before. So if it's never done before, man, I want to at least see. Because everything else has been going on as far as like the Raw and some of the other shows that are doing it in front of empty. It gets you. You still have fun with the match. This is WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is different.